Shmai. Amen. Hallelujah. After the Jewish this point Ella Kodesh, after Finland, كما في بني من أخلاق خير ما يسوع ولا خلينا نعمل هذا شو هذا إيش كم आपने दाव से मिलकर कुछ मार शख्स का शायद देखता हो क्या तो वे तो आत्मा का शरण बात है मारा का शरण क्या बच्चों में करूँ फिर से उस साल का इनका कोई से काम से यहाँ काम काम सारे सारे बात है क्या बच्चे का भी सो शीर्ष से एक वर्ष में आती बात को आवाज़ पर नहीं मेरा तो बात है ताकि बात हो अच्छा सब कुछ बात है वेल कोई तो कुछ बात हम मशीन आती को खाली को खासे करेंगे मेरे को लेना collega van de Iglesia van de Iglesia bij zaken zo het in de hele wereld dat is. Chef ik mag niet zeggen alles ik nou gezien dat ik nou voor iets zo maar voor iets maar ik moet er echt maar gaan leren zo dat ik die chef van alles ik maar dan moet je misschien nog wat maar dat ik wie zou met wat liggen ik sta weer dat is iets voor zelf als je maar dat is dan dat zo kan je weer helemaal gedaan. Wanneer is je live zelf dat afgewerkt kan je dat je zo أتباع كيشوا أتباع كلنا نيلنا برات من الكاميرا قاعد أشوف الطبيب وضعنا ما تفلا زي عدينا عندما في شخص مشاهير اللي بيسافر يشيل سوا فصلا وسيد ربنا هذا اللي تسمع ما قال بس أخذني مش يخطينا ما أخذش نفسي Come specializzato, se c'è qualche piano da concetto hoje você vai assistir só da tempo até tipo como quando ele diz se só tem braços que tem que fazer para uma coisa mais porque tem ouvido tudo que é para todo mundo ver ele tem que fazer para braço para tem que dar uma coisa para isso mas só se dá como agora que sabe só mashallah escada espera para agora que você vai para quero mexer aí já vi só agora Scout as a Muslim shop very fine. Is what I was trying to do with my shop. Research on the way of the office of the reason. Embargo, yani noktalar bu yerde kalmışlar doğru. Amém. 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 Amém.
Thanks, learning. Nishma, our guy's mother. Your is tonight. Miriam Bat Esther. The Shama should have an aliyah. Today's Jewish history. Tonight. So it's the yard site of Shimon HaTzadik. We have the mission Shimon HaTzadik Hayam Misharef Nesat Shimon HaTzadik Hayam Misharef Nesat Shimon HaTzadik was the last members of the Anshik Nesat members of the Great Assembly. That Shimon HaTzadik, he's the one who same Shimon HaTzadik who story of the general said that he saw a vision of a great man, and he met him with Rabbi Shimon HaTzadik. So the yard site is tonight in Sham Shem Aliyah. Tonight also the yard site of together with your mother, Shimon HaTzadik, and also Yitzchak Abarbanel. Yitzchak Abarbanel was he was like the Rebbe of the Spanish of Spain, Spanish during the time of the Inquisition. And he wrote, of course, a commentary of Tanakh. He was the treasurer of Portugal, right? He was the treasurer of Portugal, and Abarbanel. He was an advisor to the government as well, but with those connections, he couldn't stop the Inquisition. And he they recognized him as such a special person. I think he was granted special permission to stay. So he chose to said, I'll go together with everybody. Thank you and no thank you, and he decided to go together with everybody. Tonight's also the night, according to the Gemara, if someone lost something, the Gemara says if someone lost an object, so they were supposed to you have to announce the lost object. So until when does how long does the person have to announce an object for? It says until the next Yom Tiv. Right? The Gemara says until next Yom Tiv. Shalosh Regalim, 3 Yom Tiv, Sukkot, Pesach, Shavuot. He has to go to the Beis HaMikdash, and he has to announce like a bulletin board. That's where everybody goes. So the bulletin board, whoever lost this object, text me at whatever, right? Or meet me, and so it just doesn't go on forever because it goes until Yom Tiv, until a week after Yom Tiv. A week after Yom Tiv, that would be tonight. Yom Tiv, meaning a week after the last day in Israel. So in Israel, the week after Sukkot. We're learning about Rosh Chodesh, and okay. So last time we were discussing Hallel, and of course after Hallel we do a Kaddish Shalom, which normally the Kaddish Shalom is done. Complete Kaddish is done after the Torah reading, after Vol Tzion. Rosh Chodesh is done the other way around. We do it after Hallel, and after the Torah reading is a half Kaddish, which we switch the Kaddishes around on Rosh Chodesh. The Chodesh, we're not allowed to fast. Discussing different diets last night of fasting. There's no fasting on Rosh Chodesh. Even though Erev Rosh Chodesh tomorrow night. Even though Erev Rosh Chodesh we are allowed to fast, because some people have custom should specifically fast on Erev Rosh Chodesh. Nevertheless, on Rosh Chodesh itself, we should absolutely not fast. We also, if there's got to be a funeral on Rosh Chodesh, of course, we're allowed to have a funeral, but we don't do a hesped, we don't do any eulogies, and we don't do tziduk hadin, we don't do a special part of the funeral service. And also, many Spartans are custom to do tziduk hadin every day of the Shiva, or during the Shiva, part of the day during the Shiva, and that custom is we do not do, even if the person does that, we do not do it on Rosh Chodesh. Then we don't, and has been no eulogies on Rosh Chodesh. We just do is quit at the funeral if possible. There is a scenario, Shofar doesn't say it over here, but there is a scenario where a person is allowed to fast, and that would be someone had such a bad dream, so terrified from the dream. Of course, you're supposed to have a bad dream. Of course, you're supposed, if you have a bad dream, what you're supposed to do is go to someone like my father-in-law will always translate it for you in a good way. I'll tell you a good way. The Gemara says, Gemara Brachos says with there that you should get a good translation of a bad dream. If there's a bad dream, get a good translation. Trap good, design good. But here it's specific. It's not just trap good, design good. Here it's saying the dream is going to come about. How's the dream going to be fulfilled? The way it's translated. Nevertheless, the same Torah which tells us that the dream should go to someone who's going to translate it good. Nonetheless, the same Torah tells us that if a person does feel they have to, there's something really, really bad in there, and they have to do teshuva for something, and they want to fast. So in such a case, a person is allowed to fast on Rosh Chodesh. A week after Rosh Chodesh, we are supposed to do Kiddush Levana. We sanctify the new moon. New moon is supposed to be sanctified. 7 day minimum. Depends. Really depends on when the Ma'ila is. Depends on when the new moon is. So, but to be simple, it's always usually between the seventh day of the month and the 14th. Now, we should only do it when it's completely night. In other words, sometimes it's still afternoon and the moon is already shining. You already see the moon. We're not supposed to do Kiddush Levana. Even though there's a moon out, we should not do Kiddush Levana at that time. Rather, we should wait till it completely gets dark, it's completely night, and then the Kiddush Levana. Well, during Kiddush Levana, we're supposed to see it and actually have some benefit from it. If they have some that's why if it's cloudy and the clouds are blocking the moon, so we're not getting any of the light from the moon, that's what we don't do Kiddush Levana that time.
What if you live in a city that is very polluted, you don't see it?
My brother-in-law's grandfather-in-law. Yeah, does that make sense? My father-in-law's Mezhinik, his youngest son, married to a girl whose grandfather was a wonderful doctor. Brain surgeon. He was a neurosurgeon. He was a neurosurgeon. His name is Dr. Sorolnik. He lived in Long Beach, California. And Long Beach, California, and this is going back. Passed away years ago, but he's in Long Beach, and the Mincha Maariv was the last day to do Kiddush Levana, and it was cloudy. His wife was looking for him before cell phone days. You know what happened? Until she discovered, what he did is he drove straight. It was getting late. He didn't waste any time. He checked the weather in San Francisco. According to him, it was supposed to be good weather. He drove to the airport, Long Beach Airport, and Long Beach Airport is an outdoor airport. Now it's an indoor outdoor, one of the prettiest airports. Back then, just as you drive up and you go off the plane, you feel like, and he goes, he takes a flight to, I don't know, San Diego, I don't remember,
Which is
and he gets us to Savannah, comes back.
I'm telling you, there's some places in the world that's the only.
I don't think California is usually bad weather. But for him it was, he's gonna miss the Savannah. He couldn't do that, and he went right away, got a flight, and
But there are like many cities in China where you don't have. Or I'm from Sao Paulo, like most of the year you don't have.
the house most of you cloudy.
Polluted. You can't see the sun or anything. Like,
This guy was a real Hasidic Jew. He didn't want to miss it. Then on a plane, he got to Savannah. So, you have to be under the sky. So maybe if you have, technically, I guess it's an open plane. If you're the pilot on a little Cessna open, you ever find an open cat?
we should probably be focused on flying.
If you're focusing on flying, you are correct. But if you're the passenger, maybe. Do they have such a little pilot like that? Open. And how do you stand on it? I mean, you're open and standing. So I think you know you have to have shoulder. Exactly. Very good. So we do. Good point. It doesn't say that you're shoulder, but we'll mention it. So in Kiddush Shuvana, we turn to three people. We say Shalom Aleichem, and they tell us back Aleichem Shalom. So what's that all about? So the reason why we say Shalom Aleichem is because right before that we say people Shem Shenirek connect just like I am far away from you, but any other and I cannot touch the moon. By the way, when in 1969, when man was going to land on the moon, so there became a big tumult in the Jewish world. It says over here, just like I can't touch you, and oh, how could it be? And the Rebbe says that's not what it means. So it looks like I'm standing over here and I can't touch you, and still the rule. You're standing here, you can't touch the moon. You can fly. It doesn't mean you can't fly to the moon. It means that you're standing here and I can't touch you. That's what it means. Let's not take it out of context. Nothing to.
Can you say Kiddush Shuvana
On the moon? From the moon.
on the moon?
Why not?
No, but then you can't say Shem.
Oh, you can't say this. You can't.
And how do you're supposed to dock and not look at the moon?
Right. Look at Earth.
You know why Shimon HaKohen was such a big tzaddik? It says in this book.
Shimon HaTzadik, yeah.
Shimon HaTzadik, הוא היה אומר. אז הוא היה אומר, זה בהתמודדות. That's what it says. הוא היה אומר, מסתמן לו זקן לבן שנכנס לבית כנסת.
So it says over here, Tipa Aleinu Masa Vachad, may fall upon them, talking about our enemies, which fall upon them, a Masa Vachad, fear and dread, etc. Right? And therefore, because we're talking about our enemies that should fall in fear and dread, so the guy standing next to us, they might get scared. Oh, what's he talking about me? Right? So therefore, we right away we tell them, we go, what's going to say Shalom Aleichem? Listen, I'm not talking to you, Shalom Aleichem. Peace unto you, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. And that's why we say, the three people next to us, we say Shalom Aleichem. That shouldn't get scared, and we're talking about them. Fourth guy? Not worry with the fourth guy. You, and you, not you. Schedule here. Okay, so that's next schedule. That's next year. Okay, so now, what happens if you already started the bracha and it got cloudy? Are you allowed to complete the bracha, or you got to stop there? The rule is that you are allowed to finish the bracha, and you finish no problem. However, if it's got cloudy before you started the bracha, then you cannot. So as long as you started the bracha before the moon got covered, and that's why so many times we're out there, we're like, okay, quick, and we do Kiddush Shuvana, and then we lose it. Right? That's fine. As long as we got it, before we start making the bracha, we're good. Also, it says here we should do it under the sky. Before, we shouldn't be under any roof. Interesting. Take it back. What happens if you don't have? It's not possible to do it under the sky. Sometimes at night, if you're not under the moon, right? It says you could do it on no other case. If you can't any other way, then do it. You can even do it from the house. Nevertheless, you should do it through, and you should try to open the window at least. Try to have some kind of a direct line. That even though obviously you have to see it, you have to see it first. So obviously you see it through the window. Saying if you could to open the window and do it that way. But even if you can't, you can still, because as long as you see the moon, there's no other way, no other chance. I guess it's the last day, and you're not gonna. Then you can do it another way. Also, the outside is smelly. If it's smelly outside, you can't make a bracha. It smells very bad. You can't make a bracha outside. Then it's also a reason you can do it inside. No other place outside you can do it. Higher, washing. Okay, you want that? Sure. Giovanni, you want to down for the guy? Oh, yeah, okay. No, never mind. I'm my finger tomorrow. Right. No. Right. Sure. Okay. It's a good chance that this might be Mendel's last night here before we go back to Yeshiva. So, that's good on there. So, it's not a Shvedish. Tomorrow night it starts Erev Shvedish. That means you have to be extra.
So, Mendel is leaving Miami to watch up.
Scala, Shmira, Amém. Everyone's invited. Looks like to say l'chaim in honor of our guy's mother, Miriam Bas Esther. Come, let's make a l'chaim and pizza. So much more. Come.